to the nation. That speech followed the royal family's very public acknowledgement of the grief shown by thousands here in the capital. Today they joined ordinary mourners, talking, touching, sharing words of comfort over the death of Princess Diana. Anger voiced in the past few days over the family's silence appears to have subsided. Well, live now to Christopher Peacock at St James's Palace. Chris, truly remarkable scenes today.
Absolutely, Alistair, a complete mood swing here. I'm thinking back now, 24 hours ago, to all that stinging criticism that had been levelled against the Queen and members of the royal family. Criticism suggesting she was indifferent to the extraordinary expression of sorrow from the nation. Criticism about why she was still in Balmoral and not here in London. That was 24 hours ago. What a difference a day makes. It was Princess Diana who taught her children to reach out to a crowd. Today, Prince William was his mother's boy, doing exactly what she would have expected of him.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
In a remarkable show of courage and maturity beyond their years, despite the enormous pressures they must have been under, Prince Harry and Prince William met some of the people keeping vigil outside Kensington Palace. With their father, the Prince of Wales, they read messages, accepted flowers, and laid them again in their mother's memory. Two boys who've had to grow up so fast in the last few days. One can only imagine what was going on in their minds as they showed little visible sign of emotion. Two princes now in the full glare of national mourning back in London. No longer were they in the seclusion of Balmoral, where they needed privacy to grieve. Now they had to emerge to visibly make contact with the nation's homage to their mother. It was asking almost too much of two young people, aged 15 and 12, to find the strength to face up to the ordeal. But these are the sons of the people's princess. They had the best teacher, and she would have been so proud of them today. Protocol and precedent dramatically overturned too as the Queen responded to the public's mood of grief. Hurt by suggestions that the royal family were indifferent to the country's sorrow over the death of Princess Diana, she left no one in any doubt outside Buckingham Palace that she was deeply moved by this overwhelming grief that's felt by the whole nation. Time and again outside the palace, she stopped to talk to the crowd. They told her how pleased they were she'd come home to London. The Queen and Princess Diana were from very different generations, two different backgrounds. Diana could work a crowd, making it her own. The Queen has a very different style, more reserved. But she listened today to what people had to say, and they told her of their love for Diana and the way her life had inspired them. Meanwhile, the crowd waited silently outside St James's Palace. Inside, Prince William and Harry, with their father, will pay their last respects to their mother, whose body is lying in the Chapel Royal. A few minutes later, their grandmother came out, looking sombre, lost in thought. But there was applause from the crowd, applause that meant they were grateful the Queen had come home to London to share in their mourning too. And there was another moving gesture for all the flowers that had been presented in memory of Princess Diana. There was a rose for the Queen, as if to say, no hard feelings, you came back to London.
We've waited a long time, and yeah, I think she should be here. Yeah, I think she should be. And I'm glad she was.
Everybody showed their appreciation when everybody started clapping, just to let her know how glad we were that she did make the effort and come.
I think it's a change of mood. I think we can see that criticism is perhaps waning a little bit now because she has come out. Some people are saying it's a bit too late, but I think at the end of the day she was looking after her grandchildren. So
I hope it's what they wanted to do, to go out in the crowd. I hope they haven't been pushed out there under public opinion. And maybe it's a good sort of chance for them to get ready for tomorrow, I suppose, going out there for the first time.
So it was. Princess Diana's example of how her boy should behave was evident throughout the afternoon. She taught her children not to be afraid to hug, to touch hands. Princess Diana once said that she led not from the head, but from the heart. How well her boys had learned the lesson today.
Christopher, unprecedented scenes in unprecedented times. How would you sum up the crowd response to it all?
Alistair, first of all, if we talk about the Queen and her appearance with the crowd outside St James's Palace and also Buckingham Palace, people I think have been visibly moved by that. But the Queen is a reserved person. She does find it difficult to show outward affection, but there she was today, very much the monarch. I heard one woman from Croydon who told me the Queen said to her, "I'm very distressed and I'm very sorry that I stayed at Balmoral for so long." She told someone else that she was very upset and quite overtaken by the enormity of the grief for Princess Diana. But of course, the real important thing this afternoon has been that public appearance by Prince Harry and Prince William at Kensington. You know, it was almost like Princess Diana was with them, and they had listened to every lesson that they had been taught by her. Lessons about how to appear in front of a crowd, how to appear with people, the way they reached out to shake hands, the way that Harry was hugged and hugged in return. As I said, Princess Diana seemed to be evident everywhere this afternoon. Even as I speak to you now, the princes are inside the Chapel Royal with their father, paying their last respects to Princess Diana. That is when the enormity of this situation, I think, will finally hit them. But I suspect tomorrow you may well find that Prince William will follow on foot behind the coffin of his mother on the last mile to Westminster Abbey.
Christopher Peacock, live at St James. Thank you.
More now of the speech given by the Queen about the death of Diana, Princess of Wales. The royal family admitted being hurt by claims that they had been insensitive, even cold-hearted, following the tragedy. And it was that hurt which moved the Queen to speak a short time ago, live from Buckingham Palace.
Since last Sunday's dreadful news, we have seen throughout Britain and around the world an